Carpo. This would be my second video to you this morning. I need to really lay off the coffee. But there was something that I wanted to put at the end of the last video that I didn't, and your next video on psychedelics, smart substances, kind of reminded me or reinforced the issue I think that I'm having with some of your explanations. And it's not just you, a lot of people say many of the same things. And I'm going to go a little bit old school and play a bit of a clip of audio of where I think my issue is with what you're saying.
But there is some credibility to lend to the idea that psychedelics enhance your senses, Yeah. So they'd say psilocybin in small doses would help the hunters, and that all makes sense. The question I have is why? Does it leave your...
That's my issue. There's been a lot of writers on this. I think Steven Pinker hit on this in a couple places. I know some of the more aggressive atheists out there have mentioned some of this. But the problem is why. And psychologists, evolutionary psychologists, the question why is what I'm having an issue with, or what I like to point out to others, that there's a distinction and there's a definite mindset in looking at the world and looking at reality. When you ask why, or when your default question is why, you're implying a being, you're implying a thought process, you're implying agency. As humans, as self-aware, conscious beings, when we see something changed or altered, or someone is doing something, we always come at it from the view of intent. If, Harry does this to Nancy and we want to know why, what was their reasoning? And we tend to overlay that general intent or general reasoning over reality. When a drug interacts with our brains, or anything interacts with us, people tend to use the question why as if there is an intent, either by some creator or by the plant, consciousness, or Gaia. There's some inbred intent for that plant really to affect us for a reason that the plant or the universe had a want, or had a desire, or had an intent. And that is really completely the wrong question. To ask, why did the rock fall down the cliff, is pretty arbitrary. The rock didn't have an intent. A creator did not have an intent. The universe did not intend consciously for something. That's a human emotion, or a human experience, and a human worldview. The correct, or more correct, scientific question is how. So when you especially in this psychedelic smart substances, when you ask why, you can, I don't know if you can see it, but there is an underlying suggestion that it is doing it for a purpose. The plant or a creator made it that way so that we would be able to use it. And there's no communication. Nature doesn't have that kind of communication. There's cause and effect, and there's something that if a substance does help us, then we will continue using that substance, or we will adapt to that substance. If a substance, say, heightened our awareness, but then killed us right afterwards, we wouldn't say, Why is that helping us? We just wouldn't eat it because it kills us. So we can look into how. How does it do it? What effect? What consequence? What chemicals? How does that affect our brain? And is the positive outweighing the negative? When you talk about experiences, psychedelic experiences, spiritual experiences, afterlife experiences, magical experiences, and you ask why, there is obviously intent. People think, or because of that question, because of our humanistic view of reality, why seems very logical and seems more important. Why is more important to human beings. But it has no bearing on reality, except for an interaction with a conscious entity having an effect on reality. You can ask why somebody did that as a motivation, but when you're looking at science and the universe, how is far more important and more telling. And at the end of this, or oh, was the end of the other one? I can't remember which one. You're saying science, we may never be satisfied with the answer science gives us. And I think that's probably my biggest separation from your viewpoint, or from what you're seeing. It really doesn't matter if you're satisfied or not. There is an answer, and whether or not you're satisfied doesn't have any bearing on whether or not it's true. So that's, for me, the big distinction between others that are spiritual and people that are hard fact science. Myself, there are answers that we have that I'm not satisfied with, and I strive to keep finding a more complete answer. But I know in my heart that it doesn't matter if I'm satisfied with it or not. If that is the truth, I need to change my viewpoint of it to integrate the truth, and not pick a truth that I find more satisfying, regardless of whether or not it conflicts with evidence. Great seeing your videos. I think this is my last one for the day. Have a great afternoon, and yeah, on this one, I think psychedelic substances, obviously there shouldn't be a prohibition against them, and I think a lot of the woes in society would be alleviated if more people took psychedelics, and through that better understood themselves. Because I think there is knowledge to be gained through psychedelics. I don't think it's necessarily outside afterlife universes or totems that are giving you information that you didn't already have. It's your brain processing reality in a different way so you can understand reality from a different viewpoint. I could actually talk about this, probably like you, for hours and hours and hours, but I've got stuff to do today, and I'm going to be at it. It's great to see your videos. Peace.